Hi, I'm Jeremy, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. Whose side are you on? We care a lot about the answer to that question, in all sorts of contexts. It can be as trivial as the operating system on your phone. If you're an Apple user and I have Android, well, there's a non-zero chance that we're going to get into a debate over which company offers the best experience. We can get like that with cars, music, food, temperatures. If there's any facet of life that's broad enough to have opinions, human beings are good at drawing a battle line and arguing over which side is better. Whose side are you on? Mine or theirs? But we can do it with non-trivial things too. Politics and religion come to mind, and these things aren't just silly little arguments. Our stances in these arenas have significant impact on both the way we live our lives and even the way we see the world. And because none of us exist in a vacuum, the way we choose to live has knock-on impacts for everyone around us, and vice versa. And so yes, there are times when we care deeply and passionately about the answer to that question. Are you on my side or not? That's exactly why I love today's passage so much. It takes that question and turns it on its head. Joshua and Israel are beginning their conquest of the Promised Land. Ahead of them is Jericho, this fortress of a city with thick, unassailable walls. And Joshua at some point glances up and realizes there's a man standing in front of him, holding a sword. So Joshua asks the obvious question, the question I think we'd all be asking if we were in his shoes. Are you for us or for our adversaries? Us or them? Whose side are you on, random stranger with a menacing sword? Joshua 5, verse 13. Joshua went to him and said, Are you for us or for our adversaries? So he said, No, but as commander of the army of the Lord I have now come. Are you for us or for them? And the answer Joshua gets is no. He asked the wrong question. We don't ask God if he's on our side. We ask ourselves if we're on God's side. God is consistent and unchanging. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. But so often people make the mistake of planting their flag on one issue or another, and then trying to drag God over to their side. God is on this group's side. No, God would want us to support this group. But it doesn't work that way. Here in America, I can look at the dominant political parties, the Democrats and Republicans, and I can point at values in both parties that align with God's values. And I can also point at a lot of things that are completely in opposition to God's values. And it would be a mistake to try and say, well, God's people should be Republicans, or God's people should be Democrats, or God's people should throw themselves into this movement or into that movement. No. God's people should be God's people. And when we see God's values reflected in some element of the world around us, we should be glad. But that doesn't mean we throw in our lot with whatever that element is. A partial alignment with God's values is not the same thing as being on God's side, and being on God's side is what matters. When Joshua and Israel marched around the walls of Jericho and shouted, the walls came tumbling down, and that didn't happen because God was on their side. It happened because they were on God's side. When Joshua realized he was speaking with the commander of the Lord's army, he fell down and worshipped and asked, What does my Lord say to his servant? Not, hey, I had some ideas about how we can take the city down. Not, hey, we could really use your help if you want to come along with us. Just, what do you want me to do? How can I bring myself and my people into alignment with you? That's what brought Jericho's walls to the ground. Whose side are you on is still an important question. Not for us to ask God, but for God to ask us. God shows us through His Word how to stand on His side. He makes it clear where the boundaries are, and He also makes it clear that He's not going to cross those boundaries for anyone. We can choose to stand with Him, or we can choose to stand against Him. But it's a mistake to think that we can somehow drag Him over to our side and expect Him to stand with us. Whose side are you on?
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content. like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.